Okay, class, this is lesson 8. This is part 1 of many parts of this lesson. So we're going to talk about 4-point editing, which there really is no such thing as 4-point editing. So I'm in lesson 8, and I've gone over here to the project panel, and I'm going to double click right here on the label for this sequence 4-point. So I double click on that, and this is what I get. Notice there's an in and out point already in this sequence for us. These are sequence in and out points. I'm going to scroll down here to clips to load, and I'm going to look for Laura 04, and I'm going to double click this label here, and that opens it up in the source monitor up here. Notice here are in and out points here. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace this in and out point section of this clip, this Laura 06, with this section of Laura 04. So when we click right here that says overwrite, then we get this, right? And right here we have 5 different options. Change clip speed, fit to fill. That means if this is 3 seconds and this is 4 seconds, it's going to speed this 4 seconds up to fit into 3 seconds, or vice versa. If this is 4 seconds and this is 3 seconds, it's going to stretch this one out to fit into 4 seconds. So it's going to slow this down to fit into 4. Or you can ignore the source endpoint right here, and it will take this out point and this out point in the sequence and match those up, and it will fill this space back timing with this material. Or you can ignore the source out point right here, and it will match this endpoint in the source with the endpoint in the sequence, and it will take this material and fill this in up to that stopping point. If you ignore the source out point right here, it will do exactly the same as ignoring the source out point up here. So it'll take this endpoint and this endpoint, and it will fill in that space. Ignore the source out point right here, right? It will ignore this and take endpoint, endpoint, fill it in. Ignore the source endpoint, I'm sorry, it would take this out point and back time that. So what we're going to do is click change speed and fit to fill. So we're going to put this video in here, right? And there it is, and it's that red line means it needs to be rendered, but let's look at it anyway, and you'll see quite a bit of a speed change. And as it renders, let's go up and render that. So I can go up to sequence, render in and out, into out, as it renders this thing here, wherever it is. Little pause there. And continuing. Where are we? Hurry up and finish. And there. Now as you play this sequence, you can see all of a sudden she'll speed up and we're at normal speed, and then we're back to slow-mo. All right? So that's 4-point editing. There's really no such thing. The computer only uses 3 points, but when you do that kind of 4-point editing and you select overwrite, you get that window that forces you to choose one of those 5 options. Again, fit to fill, or it's going to ask you to ignore the source endpoint, or the source out point, or the sequence endpoint, or the sequence out point. Okay? That's 4-point editing. 4-point editing. Thank you.